California, we have Jay Snook of the Good Men Project. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Hi there, how's it going?
All right. So sorry it's been a little of a break. Things have been very busy. We've had screenings, we've had conventions. We're in the middle of convention season, and we just got off of E3 earlier this week, and it was quite the week.
hmm
Jay, my feet are still pretty raw. How are your feet doing?
Mine are okay, but I had to throw my shoes away. I had a hole from my shoe all the way to the sock, so I had to throw them
What did
away.
you do?
I guess they were just old. I must have walked in them a lot, I guess. So I
I
had to.
I, I mean, you got to do a lot of walking at E3 though, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because E3 is held every year at the LA Convention Center, and you have two main halls, right? You have the South Hall and the West Hall.
hmm
So you'll have your appointments, and like the major companies are like in both, and it's it's quite a walk just to get from one to the other, don't you? Right?
Yep, it is. Good
So,
exercise, good
but
workout.
it's good exercise. It's good. You're getting exercise throughout the week, right?
hmm
But it's
Absolutely.
weird because I'd be sweating a lot just in the convention hall, even though it's not really hot. But yeah, it is good exercise. So your overall thoughts on E3 this year, positive or negative?
This was my best E3 this year so far. It was really
Good.
amazing. I was actually there for longer. Usually I go like on like Tuesday and then I'm there Wednesday and Thursday. This year I started on Sunday and went all the way to Thursday.
All right.
So I did a lot more. I got a lot more done. The only qualm I have
Yeah.
is this was the first year that I've gone away that Nintendo didn't give out any shirts. That was kind of a little odd.
I'm trying to think. I did get a pin from Nintendo. I got a
They did,
Smash
yeah,
Brothers
they
pin.
did a lot of pins, but like the last years I've gone, they did like Breath of the Wild, and then last year they did Mario Odyssey,
Yeah, but you had
Arms, and
to get
Splatoon
the
2.
shirt for Nintendo last year, you had to get a stamp card and you had to
Yeah,
play all the demos to get the
and they
shirt.
and they did the stamp card this year, but they didn't do any shirt, which was a little strange.
I mean, not every I mean the shirts and the gifts and the giveaways, I mean, those are a nice bonus, but no
hmm
technically those are just nice gifts. Like no company has to
Yeah,
give you that
yeah,
stuff.
I agree. It was just a little odd. I didn't expect it because
You
usually they
sound
always do.
disappointed though, Jay.
I was just more surprised. I won't say I was
Okay, okay.
disappointed because I was just surprised.
I mean, sometimes the giveaways change, and I was happy just to get the pin for playing Smash Brothers because I love getting pins. This was a good E3. It pretty much started Sunday for me as well.
hmm
Um, what's interesting is we both went to different sets of the briefings or press conferences.
Yes, we
You
did.
went to, I believe, Bethesda and Xbox, right?
Just
Just
Xbox.
Xbox. I didn't get to go to Xbox, but I did get Ubisoft, which you weren't at Ubisoft, or did you make it in?
No, I didn't make it in.
All right, so I did make it into Ubisoft in the Ubisoft Fan Fest.
And so
Uh,
since Xbox started before
right,
that, which it did, right?
right.
Want me to talk about that first, then we'll go into Ubisoft
Well, but I'm just generally checking them off. So then, and I also and then we were both at Sony PlayStation later on. But
on Monday. Yes, correct.
so yeah, let's just get things started with Xbox. The gaming community generally agrees that Microsoft Xbox press conference won the show. What do you think?
Yeah, well, what's interesting about it was I'd been invited in the past, but just never gone for whatever reason, right?
Yeah,
One reason or another. And this year I decided to go, and I was like, man, I should have gone in years past because they showed off like 50 games. They showed off all these exclusives. It was just this unbelievable. It was in the Microsoft Theater. I think it was their first year being in there, from what I heard. But it was just they went all out.
how
I mean,
how 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 ingenious is that? Have the Microsoft Xbox show in the Microsoft Theater.
yeah, it makes
They,
sense if you think about it.
do you remember beforehand? Just as an aside, remember how they'd always have it at the Galen Center before?
I heard about it. I hadn't gone before, but I
All
heard
right,
about it.
when I've been invited to the Xbox conference before, not this year, but every time before it was off site, away from the convention center, still downtown at the Galen Center. And I was never really overly fond of that venue, but it makes more sense to have it right there, right
Mhm.
next to the convention center. Keep it all there.
Yeah,
But that was good.
and it was surprising because this is the first because this year is the first year a Kingdom Hearts game is going on Xbox. But even with that, people didn't
Yeah,
think they were going to reveal anything Kingdom Hearts 3 there, and they did. That was where they chose to reveal that new trailer where you got to see there's going to be Frozen, all these new worlds. So that was a really big surprise for me when it came to that briefing, and that was probably my favorite part. But there was actually a part of the briefing where they showed this new racing that's called like Forza 4 or 5 or something like that. Where they do the changing seasons. There's actually a part where they drop fake leaves on us. It was pretty amazing. I was like, I didn't think it was going to happen, but it was really cool. And a lot of the games they showed were really amazing games.
It's Forza Horizon 4.
Yes, that's what it is. But yeah, the briefing was, I'm definitely going to go in the future because it blew me away. I didn't know what to expect, but they went all out and they did an amazing show. I really, really enjoyed it.
So just so you know, they announced for Kingdom Hearts at E3 this year. Let's see. No, that's Tomb Raider. So Kingdom Hearts 3 is currently set for a 2019 release date.
Yep, January 29th.
Yeah, January 29th. So we know it's coming out on January 29th. It will be on both Xbox One and PlayStation 4 consoles. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty huge for the franchise.
Yeah, and they showed also at E3, they showed that there's going to be a Monsters Inc. Well, not Monsters Inc. We knew that, but there's going to be Pirates of the Caribbean World again. There's going to be Frozen. Wreck-It Ralph is going to be in there, which is really cool.
Hold on, there's Kingdom of Corona from Tangled. With the Tangled characters, Rapunzel and Eugene. San Francisco from Big Hero 6. The Big Hero 6 characters. Another world is Andy's Toy Box from Toy Story, which we had seen beforehand. And the world, as you said, the world of Monsters, Inc. So there you go. Quite a lot of exciting reveals if you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts.
Which I happen to be, so.
Great. And they also announced Battletoads, which is pretty exciting. Finally, a new Battletoads game coming out next year.
Yeah, which is interesting because, to my knowledge, I remember the first Battletoads. I played it. It was a torture session. It was really, really, really hard. I couldn't get past the second world, and I think the last one they did wasn't much easier either. Super Battletoads. Was that one any easier, or was that one just as difficult?
I think the last Battletoads was the arcade Battletoads in the mid-90s that never got released on consoles.
Okay, but I know there was a Super Battletoads.
There's a Super Battletoads on Super Nintendo, and there was the Double Dragon Battletoads crossover.
But I heard, do you ever play Super Battletoads? Do you play that one?
I haven't played Battletoads in years, but the Battletoads games, Jay, are notorious for how difficult they are.
Yeah, the last I read, Battletoads is still one of the hardest games they ever made on consoles. Anyway, last I heard.
I think that is. And
they said even with the Game Genie, it was still hard to get through with infinite lives. It was still torture just to get through the game.
Very. So, were there any besides what we saw for Kingdom Hearts? Were there any really standout titles from the Xbox conference for you?
I don't know. That was the one that stood out the most for me. That was the one I got the most excited for. But like I said, there was so much. I mean, they showed they're doing a DLC expansion for Cuphead, which looked kind of interesting.
Yep.
There was. Oh yeah, Devil May Cry 5 looks really amazing.
That's right. Capcom officially announced Devil May Cry 5 this week.
Really, really cool. Yep. And those are the ones that stand out the most to me. But there was, like I said, there were like a total like 50 games. There was a lot of freaking games.
Okay, so here's what else we had from Xbox: The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit.
Oh yeah.
Crackdown 3, which I believe was delayed.
Yeah, and Terry Crews, I think, is in that, which is interesting, or at least his likeness.
Cyberpunk 2077, that's not an Xbox exclusive, but that got showcased at Xbox.
Yeah, that one looks pretty interesting. Reminded me a bit of Detroit Become Human, kind of, just because.
And also the Deus Ex games, I would say. It's Cyberpunk 2077 is the next game from CD Projekt Red, the award-winning studio behind The Witcher 3. You know The Witcher 3, right?
I'm familiar with it, yes.
Okay. The Division 2. What did you think of The Division 2?
Yeah, the new Tom Clancy. That one looked interesting.
The first Division is... Did you ever play the first one?
No.
Okay. I mean, it's a very controversial game, but it sounds like they're going in a better direction with the sequel. Dying Light 2 was officially announced at the Microsoft Xbox press conference.
And that one looks very interesting because that one, I remember now, there's like hundreds of possibilities of where you can go in the game. So that looks really interesting in that respect.
Yeah, so Dying Light was this huge open world like zombie survival action adventure game, first person. So it looks like Dying Light 2 will have more of that. In a different, it'll be set in a different city. And now like the first game was basically the start of a zombie apocalypse. This game, it's like after the like post apocalypse. So now like it's a post apocalyptic world, kind of like The Walking Dead, but I would say on a much larger scale.
Yes.
Fallout 76.
Yeah, that one looks pretty cool. Like they showed us. I never really played this series, but they did a really good job of the presentation for that. I think that was one of the first ones they showed us, actually. Oh yeah, and they also showed another Halo. They revealed a Halo Infinite. They did reveal that, which was really big. That was at the very beginning.
Right, so that's the next game in the Halo franchise, and it will feature Master Chief. So very exciting. Gears of War 5.
Which looks pretty. Actually, I think they revealed like 3 Gears of War games.
Yeah, there are 3. We got our first gameplay for Gears of War 5.
Yeah.
Gears of War mobile game announced. The twist for the Gears of War mobile is that it features like Funko Pop characters.
Yeah, which looked interesting. So yeah, there was like 3 Gears of War games they showed.
And the third one,
I've never really played the series,
right?
But it looked interesting.
The third one was Gears Tactics, which will be like a tactical strategy game.
Yeah.
Did you how do you any thoughts on the Gears? How the new Gears games look?
The new Gears game looks interesting. Again, I haven't really played the series, but it looks pretty interesting. I'll say that. It looks like it has potential, and like fans were definitely very excited about it. That's for sure.
For fans of anime, we also had Jump Force, a big anime crossover game.
Yeah, that was a really good reveal because they show like Death Note, they show like just all these characters from all these different worlds coming together, and yeah, when I saw that, I was like, that was a very interesting. That was one of the more interesting concepts I saw.
So you have in the teaser, we have like the characters of Naruto. You have Naruto of Naruto. You have Goku. You have Goku and Frieza from Dragon Ball. Luffy from One Piece, and Ryuk. Or is it Ryuk? Ryuk and Light Yagami from Death Note, all crossing over for a giant 3D fighting game. It looks. I think that game looks awesome. Just Cause 4. We're getting a Just Cause 4.
Yeah, there was that one too.
So we talked about Kingdom Hearts. Oh, Metro Exodus.
I forgot about that one. That one was that another apocalyptic game?
Kind of post-apocalyptic, like nuclear war, set in Russia.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Sequel to Metro Redux, I imagine. Metro series is a good, popular first-person shooter series. Sea of Thieves. Any thoughts on what we saw for Sea of Thieves?
I think it was 2 more DLCs for it, but it looked interesting. Yeah, because I think one of them was going to go like on the level like fighting like undead like pirates or something like that. I think right. One of them was going on. So I never really. Now the thing I remember about last year is I think Sea of Thieves was premiered last year at E3 and it was really, really popular. So it makes sense to do DLCs for them, and they looked interesting. It just isn't a series I've played personally.
Now here's some big news for people who like Bloodborne and the Dark Souls franchise. The developer of those of those game series, it's From Software. From Software revealed a new gaming IP, intellectual property, at the Xbox press conference called Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. It's a brand new game IP from Software. The name of the company is From Software. So there you go. Activision is publishing this game. Previously, Bandai Namco they published Bloodborne and Dark Souls 1 through 3. So this is pretty interesting that Activision has gotten attached to From Software. This game is like, it's set in like feudal Japan, like the Warring States era, but it's like imaginative and a fantastical version of Japan, and you have sort of this ninja warrior who's fighting to rescue his young lord against all manners of creatures and demons and monsters and evil soldiers. Are you familiar with the Dark Souls games or anything like Bloodborne, Jay?
I know a little bit about
Yeah, they're hard.
the Dark
Those
Soul. I
games
know
are
about
very hard.
I know about Dark Souls a bit. Again, it's a series I haven't played, but I know a bit about it.
Okay. So this one I got to see the extended gameplay demo for this. It was hands off, but I got to see that at when I got to go to the Activision press room and I got to play a few games. That was on Sunday and that was at the Ritz Carlton.
Nice.
So that's that kind of like that kind of condo.
Mm-hmm.
It's attached to the JW Marriott, but it's like separate from the JW Marriott.
Yeah.
And Activision would take you up these series of elevators, and you would go into these really nice suites, and you could play some of their new games that were showcased at E3.
Nice.
The one you couldn't play though was Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Mm-hmm. So the developers at From Software were there, and they gave us an extended look at this game. It looks very interesting, and I think it's more combat focused than Dark Souls, and it looks like it will be easier than Dark Souls. So I don't know if that will annoy fans at all, but it is a new type of game, and it looks like they're going for something different than Dark Souls. And it very much looks like it is a From Software game with the kind of with the design approach and the type of enemies you face. But it also looks like they are taking the style and the gameplay in a different direction. So it's not a Dark Souls game set in feudal Japan. The other games I got to play at Activision on Sunday were Spyro, the remastered version of the Spyro trilogy. They had a couple levels for that. They also had the new level they're releasing for Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. For that trilogy, they're releasing it on Nintendo Switch, and along with the re-release, they're releasing a brand new level that was made just for the Insane Trilogy. So we got a sample of the brand new level for Crash Bandicoot. Are you a fan of the Crash Bandicoot games at all, Jay?
I played a little bit. It was fun, but I haven't gotten really deep into them. But I know they're a popular series.
So yeah, we're getting a brand new level for Crash Bandicoot. I got to look at that. And have you played Destiny or Destiny 2?
I got to play Destiny Forsaken, but we'll get into that.
Right. So the third game I got to play at Activision was Destiny 2 Forsaken, and it was the new gameplay mode for the Forsaken expansion called Gambit.
Yeah, I played that. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. So basically, the concept of Gambit, if you like Destiny or Destiny 2, Gambit is sort of a combined competitive and player versus event. You're fighting bad guys on the ground, but also during the match, other players from another team can come over to you and attack you and kill you. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, I played that on I think it was on Wednesday, and I had a lot of fun playing it.
So that was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So then Monday was still the pre events. Mm-hmm. So that day I got to go to Ubisoft and Sony PlayStation. You did not get to make it into Ubisoft.
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Ubisoft I thought had a decent showing this year. So I guess Beyond Good and Evil 2 had a major showing there. We finally got some gameplay for Beyond Good and Evil 2. So let's sort of get the rundown. So we got to see a few of the familiar characters. Jade is coming back. They had a cinematic trailer that showed the return of Jade. Also, they're doing this weird thing. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the actor, you know Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes.
Right. So he's teaming up with the developers and the actor for a campaign where people can create content across the game for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and it will be showcased in the game. So users and gamers can make content and submit it to like a server or something, and then it will be displayed in-game in certain parts. What do you think about that? That's pretty innovative.
It's an interesting concept, that's for sure.
Anything else to add?
I don't know, because like it could be a good thing or it could be really difficult at first. So I just have to see how it works out when they do it.
All right, it sounds good in theory, but sometimes you need to see how these things work in execution. Because
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
sometimes what works in theory doesn't work in execution, right, Jay?
Yes, absolutely. That's where I'm at with it.
All right. We also saw more of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Did you get the chance to see any of the Assassin's Creed Odyssey
I
material?
just saw, I think, the trailer they revealed. I didn't even watch the trailer, but I've seen I've seen of it. It looks like it's definitely an interesting concept because they're going to what, ancient Greece this time, right?
It's ancient Greece, right? Kind of like, Spartans.
Yeah, so that's a good concept. I like the concept. I like the idea. It looked pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to play it, but yeah, it looks pretty interesting.
The other major thing here is players will be able to play as two different characters. You can play in the campaign as a male or female assassin. So,
nice.
People who are big on on gender inclusion for these things, you can. And Ubisoft in the past has taken heat for the lack of playable female characters in the Assassin's Creed franchise. So now they have a fully playable female assassin's character. You think that's a positive step, Jay?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's good they're doing that.
Right. Let's see. Does it have a release date yet?
I don't know.
They also, Ubisoft did show it has branching dialogue options.
Okay.
The modern day story picks up from Origins for the new Odyssey game. You can play early if you pay extra with the Deluxe Gold or Ultimate Editions, and it will be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows PC. Beyond Good and Evil 2 will also be on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The Division 2. So the Division 2 was sort of an embattled, controversial game. It did sell very well for Ubisoft, so they are making a new Division game. The first Division did sell very well for Ubisoft. So they really, at Ubisoft, the developers and Ubisoft, they really put forth that they've listened to the community and they're going to do the Division right this time. For example, the first one was criticized for lack of endgame content, but they're promising this new game will offer more, including raids. Also, the DLC for the Division 2 will be completely free.
Nice.
And the Division 2 will also have 3 free DLC episodes in its first year. Positive steps for Ubisoft in the Division 2, Jay?
Yeah, it sounds like a good step, like the right way to go.
Another big reveal at Ubisoft for their Starlink Battle for Atlas game will feature Fox McCloud of the Star Fox series.
I did see that. That's kind of cool. I like they're doing that. They're throwing him in there. That's kind of cool.
Yep. So sort of as a guest character. And this is even though the Toys to Life thing is kind of dying right now, this will be a sort of a Toys to Life game. So I do like that they will be making a little Star Fox toy with his ship for this game. That kind of interests me.
I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, I saw that.
Those were the major things at Ubisoft. Did you get the chance to visit or see anything in the Ubisoft booth this year, Jay?
I didn't really get a chance to visit anything. No, I didn't really get a chance, sadly. No.
So and also later that day, so you actually got to get into the Sony E3 press conference for PlayStation.
Well, the after party, but yeah.
So I actually pre-registered, but you got in later. So was that difficult? How was that process for you?
No, what happened was I just went to the table over at Marriott and said, hey, I wanted to get into the one of the time for one of the play rooms.
Right.
And, she approved me for the after party, so I got to go to that. That's what happened. So I got to record on the spot, which was nice.
They had the PlayStation press conference got a lot of criticism, but I think being there live, I thought it was pretty well put together. They had the open bar, so you could drink as much as you want. You could get as much water as you wanted, which was good.
Food as you wanted. There was an insane amount of food.
Yeah, there was, but it was a hot day.
Really good, though. It was all really good.
It was comfortable, and you could get refreshments whenever you wanted.
What was really cool, what I really liked was when they brought us in and we went into that The Last of Us Part 2. That was really cool. They did an amazing job.
Well, let's build up to that though. So before that, we got to finally get to see the first footage of the Resident Evil 2 remake. I'm going to tell you right now, Jay, Resident Evil 2 was a game changer for me. It's one of my favorite video games ever.
Mm-hmm.
And the new game looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like the first footage we got to see at Sony PlayStation?
The footage was pretty amazing. Yeah, it was like I actually, yeah, the footage was interesting, but we're gonna later go into what I thought about it, because I didn't really watch the footage too much, but I did get to play it, but we'll get into that later.
We saw some new gameplay for Insomniac's new Spider-Man game. I mean, we're both big fans of Spider-Man. How did you like that?
That footage was unbelievable. I saw it a bit later that night, but yeah, that footage was amazing.
And we both got to play it later that night as well, because Spider-Man was one of the playable games at the press conference, at the after party part. We got Neo 2. So those of you who are fans of Neo 2, they showed off some of that. There were more announcements for Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 special edition, excuse me, PS4 Pro, for the PS4 Pro. So basically, you're going to get a new edition of the PlayStation 4 Pro if you buy Kingdom Hearts 3, if you want to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro. How did you like the new Kingdom Hearts reveals?
Well, all the figures were pretty interesting. They were kind of cool looking.
And we also got to see, I think the Sony one was where they revealed Pirates of the Caribbean and Jack Sparrow, and they're singing the Pirates of the Caribbean song.
Yeah, that was probably where they revealed that. I will say this though. In that reveal, because I watched it later.
Yeah.
It's really cool, but it's kind of confusing at the same time. There's a lot in there that I was just like, whoa, how are these people back? How are they back? What's going on here? What's going on there?
We're going to have to play the game. We're going to have to play the game to find out, Jay.
Yeah. So there was a lot in there. I was like, there were a lot of surprising reveals of a lot of characters that somehow are back that I wouldn't have thought would be back.
Like Axel, right?
No, I'm going more like Larxene and like, Ansem. Ansem's Heartless, and Xehanort's Heartless and Xehanort and all those. You're just like, and like some of the organization members are like, what are you guys even doing back? That's interesting. I didn't see that coming.
Now you want to talk about confusing. Here's confusing. Death Stranding. For those of you who do not know, Death Stranding is the new upcoming PlayStation 4 game from Hideo Kojima. Hideo Kojima, the director of the Metal Gear Solid franchise. He's a renowned, he's practically a god to the gaming community. What did you think of what we saw of Death Stranding, Jay?
I actually didn't get to see it, but from what you said, it sounded pretty messed up.
It looked messed up. So a lot of big reveals in this trailer. This trailer showed our first look at gameplay. So Norman Reedus, Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead, Daryl from The Walking Dead. He's the main character of the game. You play as this character. It looks like a somewhat post-apocalyptic setting, and he's some type of courier transporter, and he transports, I'm not sure, in some of the footage it looked like he was transporting a dead body. He meets do you remember the Bond girl from Spectre, Leia Sedoy? She was also the bad guy in the 4th Mission Impossible, one of the bad guys. All right, French actress.
I want to say kind of, yeah, kind of.
Well, she's a character in the game as well, and there's like this footage of her. She's in this little creature, like the size of a gummy bear, in her hands, and it looks like a mutant miniature fetus. Puts it in her mouth, chews it, and swallows it like it's a piece of candy. And I was like, "Oh my god!" It's like, nope. Have you ever just seen something just like so weird? You're just like, nope, no. Yeah. Have you ever had that reaction, Jay?
Yes, I have.
That was kind of the reaction I had for the trailer. Hideo Kojima was there and he talked about the game. Lindsay Wagner, from the star of the Bionic Woman, she's a featured character in this game. According to Hideo Kojima, she's a goddess in real life. And in the game, it looks like she's some type of goddess as well. This game, have you ever watched Twin Peaks?
No.
Or have you ever seen a David Lynch movie?
I want to say maybe. Give me examples of David Lynch movies.
Blue Velvet.
No.
1984 Dune.
1984 I've seen. Yes,
Not
1984.
1984, the 1984 Dune movie by
No, I
David
didn't see that. No.
Eraserhead.
No.
Okay. You need more culture in your life, Jay. You need more art house films in your life. All right, so basically the comparison I'm trying to make here is Death Stranding basically looks like Hideo Kojima doing like a David Lynch kind of thing, just very more surreal and abstract than ever before, weirder than ever before. And I'm not saying this is going to be a bad game, but when you talk about confusing, that whole presentation of Death Stranding was very confusing. I have no idea what is going on in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, moving on from that.
I actually felt the same way, and since we're probably moving on anyway, with what we saw for The Last of Us Part 2, I was a little confused.
We did see. So after the main presentation was over, they brought all the guests into that like theater, which is sort of a recreation of a scene from the game where they're having a party in their little sort of new found colony. And we got to see a scene with Ellie. Ellie, by the way, now Ellie is the main character and will be the main playable character of The Last of Us 2. Do you like The Last of Us, Jay? The first
one? Actually never played the first one, but I did like the footage we saw.
Come on.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. Well, we did see in terms of progression and all that, we did see Ellie having sort of an intimate moment with a close friend, and it looks like her close friend, who is also a girl.
More than friends.
They are more than friends, yes. I would say. Quite interesting. And then we got to see some gameplay of Ellie just going around this sort of wrecked shopping center and having a fight with these just brutal, I guess, bandits or the whoever will be the bad guys of the game. So what do you think of the footage we got to see?
It was cool. I liked it, but I was just like, okay, so how did she, because like it goes from things are great to things are really bad really fast in the footage, right? And this was basically the reveal for this game.
Well, it doesn't happen. It probably won't happen all at the same time.
I understand that, but like I even asked the developers, like, okay, so what caused that? And they we're not at liberty to say at the moment.
Well,
so
I mean, they don't want to. I mean, they can't show us everything at E3.
And I get that, but just like seeing the footage, it was good, and it actually reminded me a little bit of Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, just because she has a bow in a lot of it, and uses
she has the bow and arrow.
Saw.
And it's dark and gritty. And the new Shadow, in the new Tomb Raider games with Lara Croft are very dark and gritty, right?
So I'm intrigued by the footage, but I want to know more. Is where I'm at when it comes to that game.
What do you think of Ellie, the main character, and showing sort of?
Oh, it's a good main character. I like the main character. I have no qualms with the main character at all. It's just I'd like to know more about this game.
But also, I mean, in sort of inclusion in gaming, to have sort of a lesbian relationship, a romantic relationship between two women that's like not like stereotypical or anything.
Yeah, it's progressive. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
With it.
Do you like? And the first main character, the main playable character of the first game was Joel. He was at the original reveal, I think at PlayStation Experience or PSX 2016. He wasn't in any of this footage, but apparently it's all about Ellie. So here's what we know. Ellie is now 19 and has found a semblance of peace and normality living in Jackson. She's had a chance to be a teenager and forge lasting relationships. When that peace is disrupted by a violent act, Ellie is thrust into a brutal journey of retribution, fueled by a need to bring those that have wronged her to justice, pushing her to her very limits. From the way Ellie plays to the way she navigates through this hostile world, you're going to feel her physical, emotional, and mental state expressed through every facet of gameplay. So I think that sounds pretty exciting. And I imagine the scene we saw where she's having that romantic moment with her lover. I don't recall that girl's name.
I don't
You
either.
remember that girl's name at the
I don't,
showcase?
but I want to say I don't know if it was lover or secret lover. I don't know.
Well, they're not so secret anymore because they were making out in front of everybody.
But I don't think anyone was paying attention though.
People were paying attention. They were at like the hoedown.
Something like that.
They're having a party at their little colony.
Yeah.
So it goes from that and then into that just dark and intense scene where Ellie's just fighting against all those brutal bad guys. So I guess that's kind of either going to be like a flashback or that. So she's going to be living on in a peaceful life, and then I guess those bandits invade and either destroy her colony or kill her friend. And now it sounds like it's going to be a revenge story, like a post-apocalyptic revenge story. You know?
Maybe it could be.
It's not maybe. That's what the Naughty Dog says, Jay.
Okay.
It's not a maybe. Okay.
All right.
Well, you don't sound convinced.
Well, I just remember when I asked them for more, they told me they didn't really want to reveal much about it at the time because it was just a reveal. So this game
I mean, again, they can't tell us everything or show us everything because they can only give us little chunks and slices.
Yeah.
So after that, all the guests were taken over to the after party, and it was massive. It was this massive setup. They had like each area was based on a different game. Like one area was based on Ghosts of Tsushima, which is that new samurai set in Japan game that they also showcased. Another area was like New York City, and you could play Spider-Man, and we both got to play Spider-Man. So your thoughts on playing the new Spider-Man game? That was like
I'll say this.
Yep.
The controls for me were a little bit of a learning curve. It was a little difficult at first, a little challenging at first, but it was fun. It was definitely very open world, that was for sure. And it was a little challenging too, though. I died a couple of times. Shocker, but you fight toward the end. Was much more challenging than I expected to be. I wasn't able to beat him in the time limit I had, but I had a lot of fun playing it. It was nice to finally play it because last year it was just you went into a theater and watched someone else play it, and that's all you saw. So getting to be hands on with it was kind of nice.
This year we actually got to play it, and that was awesome. So did you beat Shocker?
No, I did not.
Guess who beat Shocker? Guess who has 2 thumbs and beat Shocker?
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah.
So yeah,
it was a fun fight though, and it's definitely a challenging fight. It wasn't an easy pushover fight. It was a challenging fight.
Have you played the Batman Arkham games?
No, I haven't. But I will say this though: when I saw the gameplay last year,
you played more games than Kingdom Hearts, Jay.
But I'll say this: when I saw the gameplay last year, it reminded me a lot of those games. Except
you're calling the PR companies and asking them to send you copies.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying?
I was saying that when I saw the gameplay last year, it reminded me a lot of that series, but with Spider-Man.
Right. I would say the combat, from what I got to play, is very much like the Arkham games.
Yeah.
It has a combat system that's not quite the same, but it's reminiscent of the free flow combat system from Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. You can mix in gadgets. You can mix in gadgets with your combos. You can build your
he has some really cool gadgets, by the way. And what's cool about this game, too, is it focuses on a new threat, not Wilson Fisk, which I thought was really cool.
There is a new villain. We don't know a lot about him in this game.
It's a new game, too. It's like, what would they call, like, the White Demons or the Demons or something like that?
Something like that. I forget his name. And then you could do environmental takedowns. And what I mean by environmental takedowns, at a certain point, you can, if a bad guy throws a grenade at you, you can like grab it with your webs and swing it around and slam it on the bad guy. You can grab, there's a fight you will take part in like this construction area building. You can grab like scaffolding and pull down the scaffolding. You can throw guys into objects. And Arkham the Arkham games, the later ones, had things like that as well. So environmental
And when you
takedown.
fight Shocker, you do that too. You have to throw stuff at him that's in your environment
Right,
to
but
be able to attack.
those are more like quick time events.
Yeah.
Those kind of predate Arkham. So then eventually, the web swinging. If you've ever played the 2004 Spider-Man game, and if you are a fan of the 2004 Spider-Man game, I would say the web physics and the web slinging feels a lot like that. It works a lot like the 2004 Spider-Man game, so I did like that. And then eventually you can fight Shocker as sort of the end of the demo. So you get to try a boss fight. The Shocker boss fight was fun, and it was hard. And it took me a few tries, but I did get it. It was on my very last try, but I did beat Shocker, and I was so satisfied.
Yeah, I did pretty good until you got to the second round. The second round was definitely much more difficult, that's for sure.
And it also looks like it's interesting because this looks like it's going to be an adult Peter Parker, not the teenage
I think
one.
he's been Spider-Man for like 8 years or 9 years in the game, so he's not a brand new Spider-Man. And like I said, Fisk is in jail, and he has a partner, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, he has a partner who's giving him all of his missions and in communications with him. I forget.
Really cool. That was nice.
That's a little. I think she's also a new character for the game.
I don't know. She might be.
She might be in the comics.
Maybe.
Haven't looked her up. Yeah. But we did know from last year that Miles Morales will be in this game.
Yeah, but yeah, that's right.
He wasn't in the demo though.
I don't know if he'll be playable though, but he will be in it. We know that.
And Spider-Man will have some alternate skins as well. I think Spider-Man was probably one of my more favorite demos though of E3.
It was. I just was glad to finally play it. Like I said, it was a bit more of a learning curve than I thought. I almost wish I'd played it more than just there or more there because I've probably gotten the hang of it better. But yeah, it's one of those games where it's Spider-Man really kind of like in a game you haven't seen him in a game like that in a while. And you know what? I think it's definitely going to do very well. I think that's going to be true.
So going on to the main show. Yeah. What are your biggest highlights, favorite games from the main show?
So on Tuesday, first of all, I ran and played Kingdom Hearts 3, and I had to. And I'll say this.
I did not get to play Kingdom Hearts 3. The lines were insane.
And a nice thing about this year that helped with Kingdom Hearts 3, in the first 2 days, they'd let press and industry and like certain people in 3 hours early.
Yeah.
I love that. That helped a lot.
They did organize it a little bit better.
That's probably one reason why I was able to play Kingdom Hearts 3 on the first day, because
they had staggered entrances for press and then the public, right?
And well, it was we got to go in 3 hours early, is what it was.
Yeah, they staggered them, as in they let these people in one time and these people in the other, staggered.
Yes. And so I played that right away on the first day, and I was like many fans. I'd waited for years to play a demo of it. We had been teased for years of, hey, here's this, but like 2 years ago, it was like another game. Year after that, it was another game. I don't even know if they had a Kingdom Hearts game.
You remember what year Kingdom Hearts 2 first came out?
It was like 10 years ago, I think.
2005.
2005. Yeah, so it's been over 10 years.
It's been over. It's been over 12 years.
And I think in 2006, they had like some weird like 0.8 darkness or something that was not bad, but it wasn't the Kingdom Hearts game fans wanted to try it. Let's put it that way. And they had, I think, a new version of Dream Drop Distance or something like that. They had something like that, but again, it wasn't the games that the game that fans wanted to play. So this year, I've been hoping since I got approved that they'd have a demo for it. It seemed that they did. I was basically just like, thank you, Lord. I'm so great for this. And I'll say this. The demo was freaking amazing. They actually let you play. The first demo was you go to Olympus and you fight the Rock Titan. And you get a chance of an idea of Sora's mechanics and the new moves he has. And it was amazing. The boss battle was amazing.
Like the Hercules, that's the Hercules level, right?
Yeah, but you're fighting it like, in the dark. It's night. It's raining. It's thundering on you. He's throwing so you're climbing up walls to fight him. It's this amazing boss fight. It took about 10 minutes. Really fun, absolute blast. And then they let you do the second demo where you go to Toy Box to the Toy Story world, and you get to feel that one for 20 minutes. And that was a very expansive world. It was a fun world. You start off in Andy's room. Then you go outside his room. Then you go to Galaxy Toys. So you got to go to 3 places in that demo.
Right.
the real feel of the world and the game and the mechanics and what it's going to do. And, like the new Keyblades were just amazing, powerful. And yeah, it was I think it was the highlight of the whole entire convention for me. It was basically once I played that, whatever else happened next was just going to be gravy. So I had an absolute blast playing it, and I cannot wait for this freaking.
Were there any major reveals in the demos?
It just was oh yeah, there was a major reveal. You got to see young Xehanort at Galaxy Toys, which is interesting. So he shows up, and just like any other fan, Sora is like, what the heck are you doing here? What are you doing? Why are you here? What's going on? Because what happened in Toy Box as well was most of the toys had just disappeared, right? That's just what had happened. So you're there to try to help them find out what happened to most of your friends. Like Rex is there, Ham is there, Buzz is there, Woody is there, Slinky is there, but most of the toys in Andy's room are all gone. Most of them are all gone. So there's only a handful of them. Like the soldiers are still there, the little, fluffy aliens are there, but that's it. You got to fight a lot of different Heartless, some familiar, some brand new. And there's even a part of the demo where you get to go into this giant robot mecha and just start firing missiles at these other bad robots that are being controlled by Heartless. So yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff you got to do.
My major ones from day one were Techland's Dying Light 2. That was not playable. It was a theater presentation. So we got to see a lot of that game, and just sort of how the game is massive, and how I think the game will have sort of branching pathways. I think even more so than the first one, where there are this new game will have factions. So you're basically sort of this survivor in a post-apocalyptic city that's overrun with zombies or infected, and you have to sort of navigate your way around it. You can ally yourselves with different factions. Some are more sort of ruthless. Like one faction basically is like you can't kill, you can't steal, but they rule over you with an iron fist. So it's sort of like a fascist sort of regime. Another one is just all about money and making people like you gotta if you want water, if you want clean water, you have to pay for everything. That sort of thing. And they did give us a really cool for a giveaway. They give us a survival kit with this really cool backpack. I don't know if you saw the people walking around with the Dying Light 2 backpacks.
I want to say I saw a few, yes.
Yeah, so that's what they gave us for Dying Light. So the other major one on Tuesday was Cyberpunk 2077. So that one that got revealed at the Xbox press conference. We got to see an extended gameplay demo for the CD Projekt Red booth. You had to book an appointment to do it. I was only able to get squeezed in at the last minute, but it worked. So I didn't get to play it, but they showed us the gameplay. This game it might not be out for a while, but it's based on the Cyberpunk pen and paper RPG series. So basically in this game, you can play as a male or female character. It will be a first person RPG, not a first person shooter.
Okay.
So if you're a fan of the Deus Ex games, the last two Deus Ex games, this looks a lot like that. It's going to have an open world like cyberpunk city. It looks a lot like Blade Runner. And you can make your character male or female. There are elements that fans of The Witcher will find familiar with sort of the user interface and the branching dialogue and the branching paths. But the major difference this time is that this will be a first-person game, whereas The Witcher was a third-person game. I'm not a big fan as as first-person perspective. What do you think on that issue? What do you prefer?
I don't know. I haven't played too many first person lately, but it is definitely a little peculiar in this day and age because you get so many third person with almost everything now. So
not almost. I mean, like Doom, Destiny,
yeah,
Overwatch. Not everything.
It's not bad. I mean, I guess it depends on the game. Some games it feels right, and some.
What do you prefer? What do you prefer though?
I'm probably more used to third person over first person. That's probably more used to because more games do that
So
nowadays.
the reason CD Projekt Red, the reason they said in the presentation they want this game to be sort of in your face and up close. So that's kind of why they went the route of first person. So you're sort of like this mercenary, sort of gun for hire in this
Mhm.
post-apocalyptic world. This one isn't. So I'm sorry, it's not post-apocalyptic. It's more like dystopic,
Okay.
dystopic future,
Mhm.
high tech.
Mhm.
Uh, and then you go on a mission where you're trying to steal this spider robot and you have your partner. You get some upgrades from this sort of cyberization doctor. You get
Mhm.
some cyber upgrades so you can get cyber upgrades to your body, to your
Mhm.
character's body in the
Mhm.
game. And you get to go on a mission where you fight these sort of these sort of techno thug gangsters, and there's a lot of shooting, there's a
Mhm.
lot of action.
Mhm.
I mean, this looks like more of a shooter, and where the Witcher 3 was more of a hack and slash, this is more
Mhm.
of a shooter type, but it
Okay.
still has a lot of RPG elements. This game might still not be out for a while. I don't
Mhm.
think I'll like this as much as The Witcher 3, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, I think the last three games that stick out to me that I played on Tuesday that really stick out to me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Super Mario Tennis Aces was actually really fun. I thought it
Okay.
was much. Once I got the hang of it, they have a new element where you if you keep hitting, you get to play as like characters like Chain Chomp and like characters like that, kind of random off the wall characters like Blooper and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as you hit the ball back and forth, you actually start to build this bar. And when you build the bar to the top, you get to do this special move where you can actually knock the person out of the arena. Instead of getting, best out of 7 matches or 7 out of so many
Right.
matches, you just win forthright. And that was a really cool element, I thought, and I really liked that a lot. The game itself was a lot of fun once you got the hang of it and
Right.
got used to the controls. So that one stood out as a lot of fun. I also really enjoyed, I think it was called Killer Queen Black.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming to the Switch. It was a simple game, but again, once you got the mechanics of it, it was actually pretty fun. It was kind of pretty cool how it worked out. And then I did get a chance to play Shadow of the Tomb Raider,
I played that later in the week.
which I had never actually played the series before, if you can believe it. I had never played it before.
Not a single Tomb Raider game.
No, not a single
Wow.
one. But I will say this. It was fun. It was
Mm-hmm.
challenging. It was definitely a learning curve. I died a number of times,
Right.
but I did really enjoy it. And Square Enix, thank you very much for getting me at the last minute to play that. I got to actually see new footage for it first in the theater. Then I got to play it, without having to wait in line, which was really nice. And yeah, I really liked it. It's definitely an interesting story.
It's too. Here's my problem. It's too much like Uncharted to me.
Really,
Yeah.
I can understand that. I haven't played that series either, but from what I saw last year, I can understand what you mean. I understand, but
And
yeah,
I
I had a
love
lot of
the
fun
Uncharted
playing it.
games, but it feels like my problem is if it basically feels like they made Lara Croft Tomb Raider into Uncharted. Basically, is how it feels.
But I personally had a lot of fun playing
It's
it,
fine though. It was playable.
and it was a really good demo. It was a really long demo. Actually, you got
It
to
was a
do a
lot.
lot
Yeah.
in that demo. So yeah,
I died a lot during that demo too. By the way.
yeah. So, and that was basically the end of. I did get to go to WB Games and try out DC's Lego DC Supervillains, which was actually pretty interesting.
Right.
Definitely
I played
different,
that.
but it was fun. And I actually got to play Hitman 2, which was pretty fun.
I
Actually,
also played the Hitman. My
and
other
that was the end of my day for Tuesday. I got to play Hitman 2 at the end. Again, I am. Who was it? Oh, yeah. WB Games was nice enough to let me into their press room too. And DC Lego Super Villains, which I got this cool little thing from, by the way. Nice little cool.
it's a
Like you can
little
see it.
Joker.
Yeah,
It's a Joker minifigure on a
yeah, which is
keychain.
really cool. I really like that. But the game is cool because you get to create your own supervillain. You can make him however you want, whatever name you want, him or her, whatever. And
you get to play with the other supervillains, and you can switch between all those characters and play as them as well.
Yeah, like I actually played with Lex Luthor. Most did it with Harley Quinn, but I actually got to play with Lex Luthor and Mercy, which was really cool.
Then you can play as Joker, Harley Quinn,
yeah, and
Solomon Grundy, Cheetah. You get to play as all of them.
It was a little challenging. It was definitely different. I had fun playing it, but I had never really played a DC Lego game before either, but I had fun playing it, and the story is
Once
interesting.
again, you need to play more games than Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, the basic thing that happens because we see at the end of it after because you're basically breaking out of
a prison. You're breaking Supermax prison.
Yeah, and at the end of it, you get to see the Justice Lords, which is kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to
that. These are not the Justice Lords, Jay. This is the Syndicate, the crime syndicate.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Similar but different characters. Similar
concept. You're right. They are a little different. But yeah, so that's kind of a cool twist, I thought. And I'm looking forward to that game. And that was the end of Tuesday for me. But it was a very packed day. I got to do a lot more than I thought I would. And like I said, again, thank you to WB Games and Square Enix for letting me into their rooms that day and give me a chance to try out a lot of their
Very nice. I got to try out Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at Nintendo. Nice. So this is the new Smash Bros. Game that's coming out for the Nintendo Switch. It's coming out December 7th.
And that roster is nuts. That roster is unbelievable.
Basically, it's sort of like a remake, not a remake. It's sort of like a re-release port of the last game, but for the Switch.
Yeah, and almost like an expansion. Almost an expansion.
Yeah, it's like an expansion, kind of. But it's a full game. Mm-hmm. But it has all the original characters plus new ones. So Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid is coming back to Smash Brothers, and David Hayter is going to be doing the voice again. Yay!
And they have Ridley, Ridley is amazing.
Ridley from Metroid will be one of the new playable characters. He was playable in the demo. They had some new stages in the demo that we got to try out. Thankfully, the line was very short. It was the non-competitive line, so we got to go through really quickly, and it was toward the end of the day, so the line was for whatever reason the line was just very short, and we were able to get in quickly. And I mean, it plays great. It's Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is like pizza. It's kind of hard to screw up, it was good, and the roster is insane. The new levels, there's a new level based on Breath of the Wild that Zelda fans are going to like. And this roster it's insane.
There's is 50, 60 people to play, I think, on it overall once you unlock them all.
But all the third-party characters are back, meaning we got Cloud from Final Fantasy, we got Mega Man from Mega Man, we got Sonic the Hedgehog from Sonic, and we got pretty much everybody here, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 different Mii characters. There's the Wii Fit trainer. There's just the list is unbelievable. All the characters that are in it.
So this game is going to be coming out December 7th. Did you get to play the new Smash Bros?
I did. I actually played it twice, but I'll get into it on Wednesday. Because when I played it on Tuesday, I played against a guy who was much better than me and just wiped the floor.
My other big one from Tuesday was Mega Man 11. I am a huge fan of Mega Man. Mega Man goes back to my childhood. I have loved these games forever. Mega Man 11 looks promising. It's just 2D side-scrolling action platformer, and there were some new. You get to try out Mega Man's new upgrade, which is sort of this thing that slows down time, and
it's called like Double Gear or something like that, right?
Yeah, Double Gear. I don't know if that's the exact name, but it sounds about like that, and you could use that in this demo, and you got to fight through the Blockman level, and you could fight Blockman as the final boss. It was challenging. I like that Mega Man, he can slide now. He has a charge attack, and I did die a few times. So
yeah, I didn't get a chance to play it, but I was around there a couple times.
But the boss level was a lot of fun. I like that the new bosses, they can grow in size and get really massive. This game, it's also fully voiced, and it looks like they're doing a Mega Man has been dubbed before for the video games with voiceover, and the results have been, shall we say, less than satisfying. But it seems like this version will be decent.
They were pretty good when they did the anime scenes in X4 and X5, but yeah.
No, they weren't. I mean, you're obviously remembering you're remembering them as being better than what they actually are. Go back and watch some of the ones that are in English for those games. The anime scene, the animation is good for its time, but the dubbing is not.
Okay.
The dubbing is not
Let
at
me
all.
ask you this about now. So Wiley is still the bad guy in 11.
Right.
Interesting. Really.
Well, this is not. This is all. We're all still before Mega Man X. Mega
Okay.
Man X is like 100 years in the future, and Wily and Doctor Light are gone.
Yeah.
Mega,
So, but
Mega Man and his friends are also gone. So
I think the last Mega Man game I played was 8, and that one was a little confusing for me.
Mega Man 8 and Mega Man 8 was about 20 years ago. So
Yeah, but it was a little confusing. I haven't played a new Mega Man since, but
when did
11,
Mega Man?
what I saw of 11, it looked interesting. That's for sure.
Mega Man 8 came out in 1996, Jay.
Yeah, so it's been a while since I played Mega Man. At least the Mega Man ones, you know.
It's been quite a while. All right.
When did 10 come out? It's been a while since 10 came out.
Mega Man 10, not quite as long, I think.
Really?
2010. So
wow, 7-8 years. Wow.
But Mega Man 11 looks like it's going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes out October 2nd, 2018. It will be on all platforms, including the Switch. So
I might have to ask for a review copy of that one because it looks like it'll at least be fun.
I like that this game will finally be on the Switch. I played the PlayStation 4 demo. Controls were good, just classic Mega Man controls.
They're usually pretty simple controls, usually.
Simple controls, but responsive controls are very important to me. Having smooth, responsive controls.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Did you feel the controls for Kingdom Hearts 3 were good?
Yeah, they were actually really good. And like I said, what was even cool was like when you're going up against the wall against the Rock Titan, you would just, run up against the wall and boom, you'd start running. And it was pretty easy to move out of the way. The boulders are coming your way, and fighting him was pretty simple. It was still a challenging boss fight, but it was simple. And you got to try out some of his, special moves, which were really amazing and really powerful. There was one where you go on a light up, like almost like Main Street Electric Parade, like train. And it was amazing. It was really cool. So you got to do that, and like his Keyblade powers, and he had a second form you got to do. It wasn't like the forms in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it was like some kind of had its own moves and powers. And being with Goofy and Donald again were really cool. And it was just the controls were very simple and understand and easy to use. But I'm a person who played the previous games, so.
Oh, you were correct. You were correct. By the way, the new. Oh, what was that? Sorry, we're getting some bad feedback noise. Sorry about that, guys. The new upgrade system from Mega Man 11 is called the Double Gear system. So you were correct there. So, anything you didn't like on Tuesday?
My only real qualm was I went to the Nintendo booth, got to play almost everything there, got one of those cards which they still had at the time. But I played like a bunch of the third-party demos, and I just found out all I got was pins. So that was my only real qualm with that day. That was really it. I was expecting, I guess, more than that. But other than that, that's my only real qualm for the day. Really,
it's not really. I mean,
it's my only issue though. Other than that, the day was great.
How is that even an issue, Jay?
I don't know.
Whatever. All right, Wednesday highlights for you from Wednesday.
Wednesday for me, let me go back to Wednesday. A lot happened on Wednesday. I remember that. I actually, Wednesday I got an appointment for Nintendo that afternoon. Before that, I ran over to try to do the Resident Evil, which was really, the line was nuts, but I got into it. It was like a 3-hour wait.
People are crazy about Resident Evil 2. It's like a classic.
Yeah. And while I did that, I actually made some friends in line and went over to play Dragon Quest 11 because you got a T-shirt because I hadn't gotten any T-shirts yet. And it's actually a fun demo. And here's the cool thing. I went to Square Enix again.
Yeah.
Let me right into the little theater, like 2-3 minute wait, like not like an hour wait or waiting in line at all, which was, again, really cool for Square Enix. Thank you again for that. And the demo actually wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it. I'd never really played a Dragon Quest game before, but I liked it. It was fun. I played the one where you were going against a bunch of bad guys, and you were supposed to fight this mini boss. So that was really fun. It was a pretty cool game, pretty cool dynamics, pretty cool party, interesting story. But I was a little bummed that I was just getting into it. Like, okay, the demo's over. I was like, well, so there wasn't like, hey, thank you for playing or anything. It's just like, hey, the 15 minutes is up. But yeah, it was fun to get to play it. The shirt's actually pretty cool. It's this little nice blue shirt that has like your party up on the front. On the back, it says the game and the release date. So it was pretty fun to get to do that. Sadly, I had to get out of line for Resident Evil when I was almost at the front because I had an appointment with Nintendo. But I actually got to meet my press contact face to face, which was really great. I hadn't done that before. And I think the highlight for my day for this day, because when I saw they're doing a new Pokemon game, I was underwhelmed. Let's put it that way. The trailer makes it look like, oh, it's Pokemon Go for the Switch. I haven't played Pokemon Go. I don't really care about Pokemon Go, so I wasn't too impressed. But that was one of the few games I didn't get to play on Tuesday. So I decided, you know what? I'll try a demo of that game. And I'll say this, it's not what I thought at all, in a good way. It's actually a lot like Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow. I played Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So you've got Pikachu in your party. I had about another 8 Pokemon in my party. You're going around, you're fighting bug catchers and people and going against their Pokemon, and you'll go against Pokemon you'll see the Pokemon walking in the grass. You're not just walking around the grass and get attacked.
Right.
You can say, hey, do I want to fight this one? Do I want to catch this one? Do I not want to catch this one? You could actually throw berries at the Pokemon, which made it easier to catch them. I actually had the little Pokeball thing in my hand, so I'd use that as the joystick, and to catch the Pokemon, I'd actually throw it and I'd catch the Pokemon. And I really liked this game. I was actually blown away. I could have played it for the whole 30 minutes. That's how much fun I was having playing this game. This is probably the Pokemon game, because I haven't played a Pokemon game since Gold and Silver, unless you count Stadium 1 and 2 and last year playing Pokemon Tournament EX. But I hadn't played a Pokemon game like this in a long time. So
I have a question for you, Jay.
Yes?
Is this the Pokemon game to end all Pokemon games?
I don't know if I'd say that, but I will say it's the Pokemon game I think fans have been waiting for a long time, because it was a lot of fun. It was really good. And this is a game I cannot wait to play in its entirety, because it was that much fun. So it was a lot of fun to get to play that, and thank you so much again for Nintendo for doing that. That was just, and I actually got to play,
even though they didn't give you a shirt.
And then I got to play a little bit of Super Smash Bros. Again, Ultimate. And this time I got to get more of a feel of the game, more of the dynamics of the characters and things like that. And I had a lot more fun playing it again, because it was playing someone on my level. So that was a lot of fun.
I played like 4 matches of Smash Brothers Ultimate, and I think I got my butt whooped every single time.
So it was really cool to get to play that. And
the game is fun to play, but I am not good at Smash Brothers at all.
And then another highlight was Activision let me upstairs. I got to play Destiny 2 Forsaken.
So that was probably the thing I got to play on Sunday.
And I hadn't had a chance to. I hadn't played it last year because the line was just nuts and it was very popular. So Destiny. I know it's a popular series, but I'd never really played it before. But playing that mode, it was a lot of fun. I had a blast. I was going around. I was doing really well. I wasn't really getting slaughtered or anything like that. And I had a good feel of the game, and I had a lot of fun. And of course, I got a T-shirt, which it's really cool right over here. It just says Destiny 2 Forsaken, but really cool shirt.
So that's the new expansion that's coming out for Destiny 2.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was one of those games I didn't think I'd have that much fun playing it.
I think so. The demo was only the Gambit mode, right?
Yes, that's what I demoed, yes, and I had a lot of fun playing it.
Okay, so the big one for me on Wednesday was Bandai Namco Entertainment. So that was Jump Force, and if any of you are familiar with My Hero Academia, have you heard of My Hero Academia?
I've heard of it, yes.
It's on Adult Swim. So they have the game coming out, which is called My Hero One's Justice. That was playable. Dragon Ball FighterZ for the Switch, it's coming out for the Switch. That was also playable.
It's called Dragon Ball Fighters, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Whatever. Dragon Ball. I call it Dragon Ball FighterZ. Fighters, I call it, whatever. Maybe I've been saying it wrong this whole time. So they had the Switch demo for that and Soul Calibur 6. So all of those were playable.
I actually used Bandai Namco that night too, but you can go first.
For Bandai Namco's press room. So My Hero My Hero One's Justice is sort of like it's a 3D fighting game. It's similar to some of the Naruto games they've made in the past. It's a lot of fun. You get all these different super-powered superheroes and some of the villains. You get a team of you get one hero and you get 2 hero sidekicks. And you can sort of call on them during the fights to assist you. The levels are like very interactive. They're breakable, destructible, and that makes the fights a lot of fun. The fights are big and epic. I really enjoyed the fights there. I had quite a bit of success playing this game. There are a few different like special attacks you can use. You have to sort of power up your characters and build them up to unleash those attacks. I really like that demo. Jump Force, the demos were for that were awesome. So basically, that's a little bit more. It's a 3D fighter, but it's more like Marvel vs. Capcom. The game is going to have its own story mode. It's going to have its own dedicated story mode. So basically, all these characters are crossing over together, and they've come to the real world. The demo you could fight in New York City in Times Square. So you have these big battles with these larger than life characters fighting each other in Times Square. So you could have like a team of multiple characters, and you could switch between them, which made the battles a lot of fun. You can pick Goku from Dragon Ball, and you can do like a Kamehameha, and the after effects are amazing because you will get thrown all across a city block, through buildings and rubble and debris, and it looks fantastic. The art style looks very interesting. They've made the characters look a little more realistic, which is interesting. And Soul Calibur 6 is just, I mean, it's Soul Calibur 6. It's a weapon based fighter game. You can play as Geralt of Rivia. The playable demo, you could play as Geralt. So that was in the demo at E3. It was fine. I'm not a big Soul Calibur fan, but I'm sure the Soul Calibur fans will enjoy it. I mean, I like weapon-based fighting games. I think it looks all right. Any thought? So that was really the major stop for me on Wednesday.
Yeah, I actually got to do Bandai Namco at the end of the night. It was my second year being in Bandai Namco. They actually had some better games this year than last year, to be fair. But
what was your favorite?
For me, Jump Force was a bit too much of a learning curve. It was all right, but I guess I wasn't that blown away by it. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't having as much luck with it as you were with the dynamics and doing well in it. Whereas Soul Calibur 6, I had a blast. I liked that one a lot. That was a lot of fun. Some of the familiar cards like Nightmare looks freaking amazing.
And you see me, I'm not as good at Soul Calibur 6.
And I did. I even fought against a guy. It was a little weird. They had like the giant they didn't have like it wasn't a PlayStation controller. It was like one of those bigger like controllers. There was a bit of a
probably for the Xbox.
Yeah, there was a bit of a learning curve for that, but I had a lot of fun playing it. I did really well. I played as a few of the characters. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing that. So that one I think is gonna be really cool. It's really fun. They actually had the Witcher character in there as a playable character, which was really cool.
Geralt, yeah.
And yeah, that out of the two I played, that was the one I liked a lot more. I had a lot more.
I like that you can play as Geralt. Every Soul Calibur game has like guest characters, so I'm glad they're maintaining that tradition.
So out of the two, that was the most fun I had as far as the two. I think Soul Calibur 6 is going to be a blast. I can't wait.
Did you try My Hero at all?
I did not. No, I just wanted to try out Jump Force and Soul Calibur 6 is toward the end of the night, and I had a lot of fun trying out both.
The other big reveal by Bandai Namco, if you're a fan of that series, they announced a new Ace Combat game. So that kind of pilot simulation game. Okay. That should be good with Top Gun 2 coming. You know they're filming Top Gun 2 right now.
Yeah, I did see that, and Tom Cruise is going to be in it. Yep, I did.
Yeah. So it seems to work out very well that they're doing it just in time for Top Gun 2. They should do like a Top Gun DLC, don't you think? Do you think that'd be cool?
They probably will. It wouldn't surprise me.
All right. So moving on to Wednesday.
You mean Thursday?
Thursday.
So Thursday. Do you mind if I go first? Because mine.
Yeah. I want to ask you.
So with Thursday, I want to
go first.
I made sure to run right into just Resident Evil and just get in line there. It was about a 2-hour line, but it was worth it. Once I finally got in, they first we go into the building, and there's actually someone playing a zombie biting on a fake arm, and they chase you into, like, the demo room.
Right.
And again, I haven't really played a Resident Evil game either. I know of the series, I'm familiar with it, but this is my first playing of a Resident Evil game.
Right.
And I'll say this: I was actually impressed by it. It has some spooky moments. It was interesting most of the game because you're in a police station as this outbreak is happening, and you're kind of trying to find a way out. As you're walking around, there's zombies going around. They're not as easy to kill as I thought. I thought you shoot them in the head once they die. No. You had to shoot some of these freaking things multiple times in the head. I made sure to get lots of ammo, so I was prepared for that.
Okay.
A lot happens in this demo. There's a lot of moments where, the main character is walking around trying to break out and save people and things like that. There's a part where he runs into this one guy who got bit where, you can tell he's going to be a zombie soon. His skin's all gray. It's happening. And yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it, but yeah, there's a lot of parts where you're just walking around with a flashlight and it's dark.
Did you get through the demo?
I did actually, yes.
Okay.
And
are you a fan of the Resident Evil series though, Jay?
Huh?
Are you a fan of the Resident Evil series?
I like the concept of the series. I do. Just like I said, I haven't really played one of the games before. In 2016, they had a house like that, but there was no line. It was you get a card or you don't get in, so I didn't get to play it in 2016. I would have liked to, but it just didn't happen. The one they had in 2016, I didn't get a chance to play. So this is my first time playing it.
I think that was for Resident Evil 7, I want to say.
It probably was.
Yeah.
So at least this one, even though the line had its issues, because when I got there, I was at halfway in the line because the exhibitors were most of it. They were letting in a lot of it reminded me a lot of Mafia 3 in 2016, where you'd be in line, they'd let in a lot of the people with appointments first, so it was kind of not always as easy to get in as it should have been, but I still got in. And like I said, the demo was about a 15-20 minute demo. It was a lot of fun. It was a really cool setup. You're in inside the police station kind of yourself playing. Where I was playing, they had a little a newspaper that had blood on it, so it was a really cool setup. And then I did finally get a T-shirt, and I found out last night the T-shirt glows in the dark. So
good.
So that glows in the dark. There's also a thing where if you flip it over, you have a zombie head on. So it's a really cool T-shirt. I earned this T-shirt. I love this T-shirt. I'm wearing it right now. It says RPD on it. Let's see it. Over, which is really cool.
RPD.
And yeah, the
you know what RPD means?
Yeah, Raccoons City Police Department.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and it was a really they did an amazing job with the setup. The game looks really cool. It's definitely has its moments. I got bit a couple of times. I'm lucky I didn't die, but I didn't, surprisingly enough. And you're just basically trapped in this police station with this outbreak happening, where of course he doesn't know how it happened. I think there's two characters. No, I don't remember if you play as two characters in the game. I didn't in the demo, but there is a second character to help you out. You're basically trying to get out of this. Police station. That's what you're basically trying to do. So it's
just like the original. It's just like the original.
Yeah, but the graphics were really good. The gameplay was really good. It wasn't too hard to get used to. And yeah, just a lot of zombies, a lot of killing. Zombies not easy to kill, so I had a lot of fun playing that game.
The two big ones I did not get to play this year were Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. So.
Yes, I got to play that game.
You got to play the two I really wanted to play the most, so congrats.
Yes, I got to play this game, and I don't remember, did I play anything else toward the end of the day? I don't remember if I did or not. I want to say, oh yeah. There was one more game I played. Activision got me into Call of Duty Black Ops.
Black Ops 4.
Yes, on that afternoon. So
you like your Black Ops 4 experience?
Yeah, so I was lucky. I got in and out of the Resident Evil. It still took about 2 hours to get in, but I got out about 11:15, 11:30. My appointment was at 12:15. So I get in there. The appointment does start a little late, but and let me give you some backstory, because I did play Call of Duty last year. I got to play Call of Duty World War II last year.
Right.
When you want to talk about a game I'm terrible at, Call of Duty is that game. I played it last year.
I'm terrible at Call of Duty as well. So I
played it last year and got my butt handed to me. I got killed so many times, it was unbelievable. And this last year I played it upstairs. This year it was downstairs. So I played it downstairs where they usually demoed anyway. And the people that my team played against clearly are levels above me because, again, this year was no different. I got my butt handed to me. I got killed again and again and again. I didn't kill anybody. I am like clearly Call of Duty challenged but it was a fun game. It was a cool game. Just the people we played against were, leaps and bounds better than we were. It's just the way it were. They won, we didn't, but I did have fun playing it. It's definitely a cool series. I almost kind of wish I could have played a demo of like the game itself, not the multiplayer. I kind of wish I could have, but it was fun. I just got my butt handed to me. Like this year was no different than last year, just the way it went.
Was there anything you didn't like to play? That you were disappointed with?
Gee, I don't know. Let me think. Was there anything? Like I said, you mean in general or just that day?
In general.
Like I said, Jump Force. I don't know. I when I played it, I just was not that impressed with it. And maybe it was just like getting used to the controls for it, the dynamics. It's like it wasn't bad. It just was. I don't know. Like it seemed like it. Like I wasn't as much when I saw it at Xbox. I was really excited for it. When I actually played it, I was like, this is a good concept, but I don't know. I didn't have a blast playing that game.
Right.
And was there anything else?
Was that the only one you were disappointed with?
Let me think, because we didn't get to play Just Cause 4. I kind of wish I could have, but it looked interesting. But you
didn't get to go to that one.
Yeah. I don't know if there was.
So the answer is. It sounds like the answer is no.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that comes to mind right now, anyway. Besides, I guess Call of Duty 2 getting my butt handed.
I'll tell you, the big one for me that disappointed me was Rage 2 for Bethesda.
Oh yeah, how was that one?
I got to play that, so I went early on Thursday. I checked in with Bethesda, and they were able to slot me in the queue for later in the day, and I did get to play Rage 2. Mm-hmm. So basically, what they've done is they've reskinned the 2016 Doom game as the sequel to Rage.
Okay.
Which is set, I think, 30 years after the original. It's still sort of like that post-apocalyptic sort of desert wasteland. It looks a lot like Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
Apparently, it's still going to be open world and going to have vehicular combat. We didn't get to do much of that in the demo, but the demo I got to play, it just seemed like a Doom clone. And I'm like, this isn't Rage.
Okay.
And I was a little put off by it. And
I did play Fortnite at the Nintendo area.
Right.
It was all right, but I don't know. I mean, I just went around mainly just smashing things. I got up to like 30 or 35 or something before.
I don't get the whole Fortnite. I'm not saying Fortnite is bad. I just don't get it. It's not my thing.
It was a game I played to just get the stamp, and don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it, but it was just meh, not really my game either. I mean, it was all right, but it didn't blow me away.
You know another game that I feel that way about, Jay?
What?
PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Oh yeah, that one looked a little interesting.
I'm just like that game. It's a really popular game. I'm just not as into it as other gamers. Sonic Team Racing. So if you're a fan of Mario Kart, I think you're gonna like Sonic Team Racing.
I kind of wanted to try that one, but I don't know. It seemed like too odd of a concept to me.
I mean, there have been Sonic racing games before.
But did you play it?
Yeah, I played it.
How was it?
It was good. It's basically it's a team racing game. So basically, you get a team of 3 characters. You play as one character from the Sonic franchise. They have a bunch of characters from the Sonic franchise, and you get 2 teammates. Okay. And so the tracks, you're racing through these tracks, and you can get like power-ups, and you can trade them between your teammates. And you can also drive behind your teammates, and when you drive behind them, you can get sort of a speed boost, and you can pass up the other rival drivers, basically.
Interesting. I will say last year I really liked Sonic Forces. That was actually kind of fun. The demo for that was
but that was a more traditional Sonic action adventure game. This is all strictly racing. So it's like Mario Kart, but unlike Mario Kart, you have a team of 3 basically. So you and your team of 3 is trying to like win the race basically.
It almost kind of sounds like Double Dash, but with 3 people instead of 2.
Yeah. maybe that's a good comparison. So it's very much sort of a kart racing game, and I think fans who like the previous Sonic racing games and like the Sonic franchise, I think they're going to be happy with this game.
Now you brought up there was that one game. What was it? The one with the kid where he thinks he's a superhero. What was that one called?
Well, he doesn't think he's a superhero. He is a superhero.
Okay, but
My hero. My hero.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember. No, but it was like the kid. I remember seeing it at the Xbox briefing.
Yeah.
Square Enix had it.
Square Enix.
Yeah, because it was where like the kid like lives with his dad, and he has like he goes like around in his imagination, I think, right? Where it's like he's got like the red mask and the cape. What's that game called again? Like Wonder or something? Now, do you say you got to see that one or play that one?
I don't think I saw this one. I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought you brought it up on Tuesday. You saw it or something like that.
Hold on.
Like something.
What did you see? What did you see exactly?
Because I remember they asked. I remember I saw it on at the Xbox screening. It was like the Xbox briefing was like this, like something Wonder Kid and like adventure or something like that. And
I don't think I saw that.
What was it called? God dang it. It's out. It was let me see if I can do this on YouTube.
FIFA 18 Wonder Kids?
No, let me see if I can find it. What was it?
I don't think that's what it's called.
It's not. Let me just see if I can find it. It was something about like a kid where.
So I wasn't at Xbox, Jay. Remember?
Yeah, I do. I just remember they invited me to it, and I was like, I don't know about that one. I kind of wish I'd played Skull and Bones. That would look kind of interesting. I didn't get a chance to play it, but it looked kind of interesting.
All right. Well, moving on from that, I also got to play Metro Exodus.
How was it?
The demo was fine, but it was very glitchy and buggy. Load times were horrendous for this demo.
Okay.
It looks like it'll be. It looks like you'll have a lot more sort of. It's not like a strictly open world sandbox game, but it looks like there will be a lot more sort of open area maps.
Okay.
So basically, you're part of this team of sort of benevolent soldiers in a post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear war Russia. It's a wasteland. Creatures have sort of mutated into monsters and what have you. And so you're sort of going on a mission to sort of help survivors and find out what's going on in the surface, which is now a little bit safer to go because people have been living in the sewers underground for 20 years. So now they've returned to the surface and they're trying to find out what's going on above ground. So it's a continuation of that story. The game has a great narrative and a good story. The demo was quite buggy though, so I was a little bit disappointed with that. But the shooting mechanics, the stealth mechanics were all good. And my last stop on Thursday was Warner Brothers Interactive, where I played Hitman in the DC Lego Supervillains, which were fine. The graphics for Hitman look really good, and there's a lot you can do in Hitman. I like that there are these big crowd scenes, and you can just walk around the crowd. You can like get flyers, or you can go to a soda pop stand and get a soda from these vendors. It's at a race.
I got these cool two little things here. There's these little duckies that they gave me. One is a flash drive. One is just a little thing.
So, what's his name? Agent 47 from Hitman.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: did you blow it up, or did you just shoot?
I did. I did. Yeah. So basically, in this demo, you're Agent 47, and you're there to take out a driver.
Yes.
So you have two options. You can either you can sneak around, get your equipment. You can steal like a flamingo costume and dress as like a mascot to sneak up to a roof, and you can use your sniper rifle to take out her car, the race car driver's car, and basically murder her, or you can blow her up. But just so you know, the driver is not a good person. She's a bad person who has done bad things. So it's not like you're killing an innocent person. You're taking out, and she's basically like an evil corporate tycoon who deals in like illegal activities and human trafficking and like does things. So don't feel bad for the person agent 47 kills. So a lot of interactivity in this demo. I think Hitman fans are going to enjoy it. Graphics look pretty impressive, pretty slick and crisp graphics, great environments, and there's a lot you can do. But you also have to be careful because if you hit anyone, you'll tip off security, and that will make it bad for you. So you have to sort of there's a lot you can do in Hitman, but you can't be extreme or that will ruin your mission. What did you think of Hitman?
I liked it. I actually did the sniper option, and it took me a few times.
So did I.
It took me a few times to hit it, but once I did,
same for me.
it was once I actually did it, boom, it was done, and it was pretty cool once I got it working. So that was cool.
Very nice. Also, so DC supervillains, it looks like a good game for kids. I like the twist that it's all supervillains and you're playing as the supervillains this time. Mark Hamill is back as the Joker. Kevin Conroy is back as Batman, so that's fun.
And Terrence Strong probably is Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah. So I like that you get those actors back playing those characters, but in a DC Lego video game. So I like that.
And if I'm not wrong, I think Clancy Brown might have been Lex Luthor. I think
Clancy Brown was Lex Luthor. You are correct there. So I think it'll be a fun little twist on the DC Lego series if you're a fan. And this is more of a game for kids anyway. And this looks like a good game for kids to play around and have fun with. And then what was my last? Oh, and
I did get this really cool little flash drive from Bethesda. That was really cool.
Fallout, very nice.
Little power pack.
Did you go through that whole Fallout thing?
I didn't get a chance to, no, but it looked interesting.
That whole Fallout like experience they had there.
I saw it, but I didn't get a chance to check it out.
When I did get a keychain based on one of the weapons from Rage 2 from Bethesda, and then the last game I think for me that day was to close out E3 was the Shadow of the Tomb Raider demo, which it's fine. It's just playing through the demo, I felt like I was playing like the most recent Uncharted game. So it was fine. It just didn't blow me away. I did die a few times, but
yeah, so did I.
but the puzzles, like it's satisfying when you figure out the puzzles and how to advance. And I liked it once you got to the combat areas and you could sneak around and you could sneak up on enemies from behind and just take them out, and then you could engage in a shootout. So I liked all of that. It just feels too much like Uncharted, and that was never really the Tomb Raider series to me.
So the game I was talking about, by the way, was the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. They invited
I didn't see anything from that during E3. I missed that.
I don't know. Like I was kind of like, it looked okay, but I didn't really care too much. But I do kind of wish I could have.
Yeah.
I do kind of wish I could have played a demo for Days Gone though. That looks.
I missed all that during E3. That is a Square Enix title, but yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah, but Days Gone I really wanted to play. That one looks really fun, but I didn't get a chance to, sadly.
Okay, so any other takeaways from E3, Jay? Favorite pieces of swag or favorite gifts?
I actually got a really cool shirt. I actually ran into a guy on Wednesday. Maybe you've heard of him, Hip Hop Trooper. Are you familiar with that cosplayer?
No.
Well, he's this.
I did run into Metal Jesus Rocks though from YouTube.
So,
cool.
So Hip Hop Trooper is this. He used to be in LA all the time. He's not anymore. He's in like Nashville now. But he was there on Wednesday. He wears this red Stormtrooper outfit. He's got a big gold chain. I randomly gave me this cool little shirt that says Champs Gamer, which is kind of cool.
Oh, very
nice.
That
was really nice of him. So that was really cool, unexpected swag. I bought something. I kind of wish I hadn't, but I did. I don't regret it fully.
That's not a bad buy to get a
Spider-Man shirt. I couldn't resist. I love it. It's a really cool shirt.
How much was it?
$30.
Did you buy it off of someone else, or did you buy it at a booth?
At the PlayStation little store.
Okay, good. Oh, right. The PlayStation had their own store set up.
So I did buy that.
Right.
Like I said, a part of me was like, well, because after I bought it, I got a bunch of free shirts, but I remember last year when they did the theater for it, a lot of the people who worked there were wearing a similar shirt. I'm like, I want one of those shirts, and I do like the game. I will rock the shirt. So, but
there you go.
My takeaway from this, what I liked most about this year D3 was a lot of the companies were really accommodating to press this year. I really liked that. I probably never had them be so kind. Like I said, last year it was just like 2 or 3 press rooms on the last day. PlayStation, Nintendo,
Right.
I think Activision. This year I got into like 2 press rooms one day, 2, 3 press rooms another day, and like 1 or 2 another day. So they were very accommodating. They were very glad to work with us and try to get us in there to play the games and give us swag. So I was really impressed by that. I liked that, and I also got a lot of cards for a lot of potential contacts for a lot of companies. So I may have more contacts next year. So I'll get to do more stuff like, make appointments sooner, maybe be in more briefings, stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff like that. So that was really amazing to me. That's what made, I think, this one so special was that, because in the past, it was like, hey, you try to get into appointments, but a lot of them would just be full. That's just the way they would be because they were really busy. And it's a worldwide con, right?
My favorite thing was probably just getting to go to the Xbox party at night, and that was Wednesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool because they had a whole big setup there.
Mm-hmm.
They had open bar. They had game stations where you could play all the games,
Mm-hmm.
and for every game station you went to, you would get like a pin or a prize for playing the game.
Nice.
And you got a gift. You got a goodie gift bag when you left. I was probably like my favorite offsite event.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good E3 overall. I wish they would figure out a way to shorten the press conferences though, with less talking and just show us the games. Less talking, just show us all the games.
Mm-hmm.
Less talking heads and less it's not sports. It's not a sporting event. We don't need like at PlayStation, they had a desk where they had like this breakdown and commentary. And I'm like, we don't need that. It's video games. Just show us. People want to see the video gaming stuff. So yeah.
I will say it was a little weird this year.
Yeah.
PlayStation was really secretive about where they were. It was strange. I asked a few times, hey, do you have any availabilities, for appointments? Do you have for PlayStation? Do you have an appointment? I'm like, no. And well, we can't.
You mean their booth or their press conference?
The booth.
I mean, the booth is pretty easy to find.
No, it wasn't. It was tough.
It's easy for me. It's right there. They had one of the biggest booths on the show floor, and the same, just right. They were right next to Nintendo. How was that hard to find?
I couldn't find it till Thursday, so it was hard.
How could you? They were literally right across from Nintendo. How could you miss that?
Well, one of the sides had a black thing covering it, so you couldn't see it.
You need a.
And again,
I'm blown away by this, Jay. I'm sorry.
Again, every time I asked them, they said, "Do you have an appointment?" No, that we can't tell you where it is because they're so booked up anyway. So it was weird.
Do you mean the press? Do you mean the press booth or the actual main booth?
Like the press booth that was tucked away in the back and was like.
Okay, that's not the same. All right, you mean the press room, not like the actual.
What I mean, and that was the first year.
You should specify that because you're confusing me.
Yeah, because it was just so weird where they were so secretive about it.
All right, well, I mean, look, because that's for those areas are usually by appointment only, so they're secretive for a reason.
But it was just a little odd that they were so secretive about it.
I don't think that's odd at all, quite frankly.
I don't know.
All right, so I think that about covers it for E3. So this was basically our whole E3 takedown. We'll be back early next week to cover The Incredibles 2 because I think we both got to see it.
Yep.
Right before E3, we got to see Incredibles 2, and the movie is doing very well this weekend. So it'll be exciting to talk about that, a movie that was 14 years in the making. And so Jay, are you feeling okay after your favorite show got canceled?
Yeah, you know what? I'll live. And I'm
referring to Roseanne.
What's going to happen? You know what? There are plenty of other shows. Heck, Spider-Man is back, so
Right. Well, Spider-Man's a cartoon.
Still, though, it's back.
It's good.
It's good.
But are you sure you're going to be all right now that Roseanne's canceled?
Yep, I'll live.
Because it was canceled right out from under. I mean, you were so pumped and excited about this show.
I was. A lot of people were, but again, I stand behind the decision that was made. I mean, it was the right decision.
It was the right decision. I agree. But maybe they'll do a spin-off about Darlene and maybe all those people will still get jobs.
Who knows? But I will say this though, I definitely want to see next year. I want to see more of The Last of Us Part 2 because that one looks like it has potential, but I definitely want to know more, and I'd love to play a demo of that. That's for sure.
Well, Well, that depends on when it comes out.
Mm-hmm. And I'd love to know more about
We
Doom
don't
2.
release it yet for Last of Us 2, so
Yeah, I also want
possible.
to see more of Doom Eternal. That looked really, really cool. That game looks amazing.
That's right. They did announce a new Doom game.
Yeah, that looks really, really amazing. I'd love to learn more and get to play that one because that one.
I wanna know what's actually going on in Death Stranding because it's so weird.
Is it still giving you nightmares?
Oh man.
There's like a little like you're saying. I almost don't want to watch it. I'm like, if it's that like bad, Norman I don't know.
Reedus, the character Norman Reedus's character, Sam, he carries around like a little fetus, like a living fetus, like on his gear, and there's like a living fetus like living in his gear in a canister, and he uses it like when these sort of like ghostly apparitions come out, he like taps on his canister that he's wearing on his chest, and the fetus wakes up and like does some, and I guess helps him with his helping him walk through this very dangerous area. But like this fetus is like it looks intelligent and like it knows it's like this super intelligent baby fetus.
God, it just sounds weird. I don't want to watch the trailer for it because I'm like, God, what in the world?
It's like you know, you like horror films and you like it, so maybe this is right up your alley because there's some definite.
I remember at Ubisoft they had like a little of him, but geez, I don't know.
It's not Ubisoft. It's Sony actually.
Okay, but it was around the Ubisoft area, wasn't it?
No.
Because I know they had the skull and crossbones little thing you could spin. I know that. They had the like a desk you could sit at for some game.
I guess basically what I'm saying is my playing Death Stranding or not will depend on like learning more about it, and it's just such a weird. But that's Hideo Kojima for you. He's a genius, and he wants to make something different. I guess something different from the norm. So credit him for that. All right, so I'm Jeffrey Harris. You can check out some of my upcoming E3 coverage on 411mania.com and also the YouTube channel TGN, the Gamers Network. And Jay, what about you? Where can people find you online?
My coverage will be on the Good Men Project, the Arts Entertainment section. That's where I'll have that. And again, we are on Facebook. We're on YouTube. I'll also post these on my Tumblr, so you can find all this stuff there. Check us out, follow us, like us, and know this too. We both will be at San Diego, so
for Comic-Con, and that's a month away.
Yep.
That's just a month. We're just a month away from Comic-Con. Can you believe it? So E3, right into Comic-Con. But before that, I will also be at the Anime Expo coming up in just 2 short weeks. So, so I will be hitting. So it'll be first Anime Expo and then Comic-Con. Thankfully, this year we don't have D23 the weekend before Comic-Con, which was really exhausting for me and really ticked me off having both of those events back to back. That was, you know, you want a little break in between. You know what I mean?
I do. I absolutely
right.
do.
So be on the lookout for our next podcast on the channel. We'll be doing Incredibles 2, and I think after that, we'll be doing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
And also probably Luke Cage Season 2, because that'll be around.
Luke Cage Season 2 after that. So thank you, everybody. Have a great week, and be safe. Bye-bye.